quarterback. If you've got a quarterback, then the issue with you is just take the quarterback. Like, you don't even have to think about it. You don't have a quarterback in this league, you're toast. Just go ahead and take the quarterback. But if you've got a quarterback already, then what do you do with the pick? Do you try and beef up your offensive line, defensive line? And Laramie Tunsil is looking like the best player in the draft. I think that many mock drafts have him going number 1 to the Titans. But you have another option, which is that you could trade the pick away for more picks and, get some kind of lower value player. The issue with the Titans as well is that they have so many holes to fill that this really isn't the most unwise decision for them. So we'll get a little bit into that conundrum, into that pickle. But before we jump into the pickle jar, let me talk about the platforms, the many different ways that you can listen to us here on Hot News Talk Radio and interact with us. We'd love to hear from you. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, search Hot News Talk Radio. We'd love to hear from you. We always respond. On YouTube, you can listen to our classic episodes. We never call them old because they're not. They're American classics. And you can also not just stream us live, but you can post links everywhere. I prefer Facebook personally. And you can follow me personally on Twitter at SportsCloud. I make sports jokes. Sometimes they're funny. You can also go into the internet to find Hot News Talk Radio to listen to. That's right. We're not constricted to the radio. We are going into the future. And for that reason, hotnewstalkradio.com, we stream 24/7. Binary with Russell Stroud, our news director, gets you up to date on all of the technology, especially what's happening on your smartphone. The David Tulis Show featuring Nooganomics. There's no reason why you shouldn't be listening to that show and reading that blog. Mr. Tulis always says the man that matters always does. And, of course, we've got Hannity and we've got Gallagher and this show, Clutch with Keon Rose. So all over, we've got you covered. If you want to listen to us on your mobile device, there's no reason to be trapped in your driveway while you're listening to a riveting segment. Just get the TuneIn Radio app already. It's free. Get it on the Google Play Store or the Android App Store. Search Hot News Talk Radio. Give us a follow, press play, and you will have Hot News Talk Radio everywhere you go. So now that we've gotten all of that into your ears, let's move forward. The NFL Draft. It causes the most problems of any sport. The NFL Draft has the most consequential draft because you miss on a guy, your team is roasted for the next goodness knows how long, especially, God forbid, you miss on a quarterback. You miss on a quarterback, you're in the dark ages for another 10 years because quarterbacks are hard to acquire, good quarterbacks especially. Having a good quarterback is important, but also they're the position that washes out the most, that you just keep going in, trying to find the right guy, and then you just never get him. Fortunately, the Titans were able to get Marcus Mariota last year, having the second overall pick. But the fact of the matter is Mariota can't turn your franchise around on his own. Part of it is his play style. He runs a lot. He's going to take some shots. He's going to miss some games due to injury, and he did last year, including one hit that he took while he was in the pocket, just a cheap shot, a late low hit that should never have happened. And the league needs to go ahead and tighten up the screws on stuff like that so that that doesn't happen again. But with Mariota, Mariota's got all of the tools and the skills that you'd want from a guy at that position. On top of just being highly intelligent, having a strong arm, he runs at about 25 miles an hour. I mean, the dude is just lightning fast, and he's had some incredible plays last season. You know, he didn't win Rookie of the Year, but man, he should have. I know he missed some games, and that's why he didn't win it. But if you want to talk about a person with just that electrifying on the field ability, Marcus Mariota is your guy. Now, when it comes to the offensive line, because once you've got your quarterback, the next step is to keep him upright. I mean, you couldn't have gotten into a better spot if you're the Titans. I think the Titans should keep the pick. The temptation to trade it away and get more stuff, you're going to get a bunch of guys that aren't going to contribute right away. Okay? And here's the thing. This is not the NBA. You don't have to tank to get all of your pieces. The NBA, you need to get superstars. It's the only way to win. You don't have superstars. Again, you're toast. But in the NFL, you can build through free agency. And after you go through the draft process, build through free agency. I say don't try and sign anybody before the draft because that seems to always end in disaster somehow. But build through free agency and build up your talent over the long term. You don't have to trade it for a bunch of picks. We saw what happened with the St. Louis Rams. Okay, they traded a bunch of picks for RG3. The first season with RG3, while he's still healthy, the Redskins go to the playoffs. The Rams haven't come close since, and they have all these picks, but like, what good did it do them? They didn't go anywhere. Okay, so I think you should keep your pick and try and get the highest value guy you can, especially since the highest value guy that you can get is Laramie Tunsil, who fills a position of need. He's a left tackle. You've got a quarterback you need to keep upright and protect his blind side. This is a no-brainer, right? Like, I understand Bill Barnwell on ESPN, who's a fantastic writer. He wrote an article about the conundrum that the Titans are in. Do you keep the pick? Do you trade it for more? I'm not going to say you always keep the pick, but there are very few situations where you just trade away the pick for more picks, unless you're like the Patriots or something. If you're already a team that's established and you're just trying to get more depth, then yeah, I would trade away the picks and try and get more guys and see if you can land on more players. But the Titans are awful. They're a very bad football team. I don't think you just try and shoot a shotgun scatter shot and try and get as many guys as you can. I think you try and go for high quality guys that'll be the cornerstones of your franchise moving forward. And it's difficult. It's difficult to look at the Tennessee Titans in their current form, in their current iteration, and to say this team has got its cornerstones. You've got Mariota, and you've got positions of need everywhere. You need running backs. You need wide receivers. And look, the Falcons released Roddy White, who I think is still a very good football player. You might have a chance there. The Redskins are probably going to start to move away from Alfred Morris. I don't know exactly what style of offense the Titans run. And that's something that I lost in my notes while looking up stuff for the show. But if the Titans run a stretch zone kind of offense at all, then yeah, I think they should go for Morris, because that's exactly the kind of runner he is. And he does a really good job if your offense runs that stretch zone scheme of going between the tackles and getting upfield, just immediately going north-south and not worrying about anything else. And I know that people don't like him as a pass catcher out of the backfield, but I actually think that it's a little overstated, his abilities as a pass catcher, or his inabilities as a pass catcher, rather. I think that's a little overstated. I think he's actually a solid pass catcher out of the backfield. That could help this team. Okay, so you don't have to swing big and try and land everything in the draft by, getting a million picks. But I don't think that you're going to miss on a guy like Tunsil. Like a lot of these offensive linemen, it's much easier to figure out if a lineman is going to be good long-term than a quarterback. So you're not in the impossible position of, do I take this guy or this guy? Like last year, the Buccaneers had the number 1 overall pick. They had the impossible position. Like, how much do we like Jameis Winston over Marcus Mariota? And do we go Winston or Mariota? Do we go Luck or RG3? Do we go Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf? You don't have that position. Because if you have that position, I think it might actually be worth trading away those picks. I don't want to be the person that tries to figure out between two quarterbacks that look like they could be fantastic. And I think that it's always overstated that people thought that Ryan Leaf was going to be a bust. He turned out to be a gigantic waste of time in the NFL. But coming into the league, we didn't know that. We didn't know about all of his mental problems and his inability to control his anger and all of that. There were hints of it, but like nobody knew that 100%, because guys come into the league with anger issues all the time, and then it doesn't turn out to mean anything. So you don't know that. In this particular case, you're not hearing anything about Laramie Tunsil except that he's a talented player. And honestly, in the positions of offensive line, in the positions of defensive line, in the positions of defensive back, this draft might be one of the deepest drafts. These are all things the Titans need. So I understand the mentality of let's try and get more picks. Let's try and get more guys onto the squad. But here's the thing. Okay, like most picks beyond the third round are gambles. They're gambles. I'm saying you got a sure thing in Laramie Tunsil. I believe that is a sure thing. Okay, he's got great feet, strong hands. He moves well. All right, as a lineman, he could probably put on some more weight, but like he's already solid. You know, like what else do you need from the guy? Just get him in a baby blue uniform already. You know, that's the thing right there. There's no need to go digging where you don't have to dig. Okay, it's like having buried treasure. The treasure is already on the beach, and you're digging to try and see if you can get more. Bird in hand is worth two in the bush, my friends. This is AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. I think the Tennessee Titans ought to just go ahead and take Laramie Tunsil. I'd draft him right now if I could. But you make people sweat. You try and play the game. Because if you could get a boatload of picks, that would be the situation there where I think you would trade it. Like if you could just get a boatload of picks to try and maybe see if you could get a team looking at that quarterback spot, maybe wanting to leapfrog Cleveland, because here's the thing: if you like Carson Wentz or any of these other quarterbacks coming out, there's no need. Then you might want to put up a king's ransom for that number one pick if you could make a deal that would make that worth it. But to me, there aren't too many unless you're going to be giving me more first rounders back. That's the only thing that makes that deal attractive to me. Is if for whatever reason you could give me back more first rounders, then I will make that deal with you all day. But I don't think that anybody's got that. And I'm not going to go ahead and trade away an offensive lineman. The Titans are terrible at offensive line. They're just a very thin unit. Anybody gets injured and they're basically done as far as the season goes. Because if you look at the season, Mariota started taking some of these big shots later in the season as the offensive line got more injured. And it's because he was taking shots in the pocket. Like you want to say Mariota's a runner, he improvises a lot, all of this stuff. I don't know about all of that, but I know that he took some shots in the pocket. He took some shots, keeping his eyes downfield, going through his progressions, doing exactly what he was supposed to do. And he just didn't get helped out by the offensive line at all. In fact, if I'm the Titans for this entire draft, I just select offensive linemen. Like I just try and jump around and see how many of those guys I can get. Because if that's your biggest position of need, you've already got the franchise QB. Get that man some protection. He's going to need it. Okay, you're in a division where you run into J.J. Watt frequently. Okay, the Jags are no slouches either when it comes to how they blitz you, how they get to you. I don't remember how to pronounce this man's name, the middle linebacker for the Jags, Pazlowski. I feel really terrible already for that, but he's really good, and he's got some good licks in on Mariota as well. So it's just, you play in a division where guys hit hard. Okay, the reason why the AFC South is a terrible division of football is primarily because there are no quarterbacks in that division that are developed yet. They're all very young or just not very good. In the case of the Texans, not good. In the case of the Titans and the Jags, young, and then you've got the Panthers. Who are the Panthers? The second best defense in the league. You got to protect Marcus Mariota. Keep that man upright. I'm serious. I like him. I like Marcus Mariota. There is no need. But he missed a lot of games due to injury last year. And part of that was it was not possible for the Titans to keep opposing defensive players away from Marcus. Okay. And he covered up for a lot of the deficiencies of that offensive line because of his ability to escape the pocket, because of his ability to turn broken passing plays into really long runs, because of how fast he is. That ultimately saved the Tennessee Titans a lot, and then when it comes to free agency, hey, go ahead and try and swing and miss on swing and hopefully not miss. Go ahead and try and swing on some of these guys that are out there. I'm not saying Roddy White's your guy because he's more of a possession receiver, and I think the Titans need a deep threat. That's where you're missing things because you're not high up on the list of big plays in the league that are not running plays, right? Like a lot of the big plays that the Titans had were running plays. It was Bishop Sankey breaking free, getting downfield. It was Marcus Mariota just taking off and torching whatever defense he was up against. But beating you through the air frequently, not something that the Titans did with a lot of regularity. Look for some kind of receiver. Okay, like those guys are easier to find than most things. Okay, and having that guy doesn't necessarily make your life better, but I imagine that the Super Bowl looks a whole lot different if Cam Newton has Kelvin Benjamin to throw to. I'm just a guess. I'm just tossing that one out there. I'm guessing that the Super Bowl looks much better for the Panthers if there was a deep threat there. There was some stat out there. Someone put a stat out yesterday on Reddit, NFL Reddit, and I wish I remember who posted it, that Cam Newton lost 457 yards in dropped passes this last season. That if those passes had been completed, that's just almost 500 more yards for Cam. That's a lot of yards to lose to drop passes. So get your quarterback some pass catchers and some deep ones. You look at some quarterbacks that are fairly limited in their skill set, but because of who they have at wide receiver, they're not just serviceable, right? Because Andy Dalton, I think, is a guy that could just be a serviceable quarterback, but he's got AJ Green to throw to. So he's not just serviceable, he's good. You just get your guy somebody to throw to. Kirk Cousins for the Redskins looked much better with Deshaun Jackson in the lineup than without him. The number of big plays that the Redskins were able to pull off increased quite a bit because they had that deep threat in Deshaun. In Tennessee, we just don't have that guy. You need to try and find that guy. And that is going to take some gambling, but you're not necessarily going to find that person at the top of the draft, and you don't need to give away all of your you don't need to give away your pick to get him. That guy's easier to find than most things you're going to need. Shutdown corner, that's not easy to find. Lights out QB, that's not easy to find. Highly mobile, highly intelligent defensive player, I mean that's difficult to find. Okay, you're going to struggle to find those things. Deep threat receiver, it's not easy to find, but it certainly is plausible. Okay, that's all I'm saying. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio Clutch with Keon Rose. I'm Keon Rose. Coming to the station on his way is Sam Blevins, our NASCAR insider. I tried to avoid talking about NASCAR earlier in the week because I don't want to steal Sam's thunder. He's really smart, huge NASCAR fan. I've got some questions for him. I'm sure he's got some insights to share with us as well about what happened last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm very excited. One of my favorite segments of the week, if not my favorite segment of the week. Make sure to check out the Bloom Sky app. Hashtag Bloom Sky. It's got the weather. It's got the news updates. They've done a great thing. They've partnered with us, and we're the most reliable weather in the Chattanooga area. And thanks to Bloom Sky app, you'll have that weather wherever you go. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
I'm going to Carter Shooting Supply.
Carter Shooting Supply.
That's right, Carter Shooting Supply. They're having a great sale on all of their guns right now, and it's name brands like Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Springfield, their AR-15s. They've got the hottest gun in the land right now, the Sky 9mm. Man, it comes in all the cool colors. If you're an Alabama fan, they've got crimson. If you're a big orange fan, they've got an orange one. You know, all the women are loving the pink one and Tiffany blue. Plus, it has a lifetime warranty replacement. If the gun is stolen, all you need is your police report or receipt, and they'll replace it free. It has a 60-day full money-back guarantee. That's Carter Shooting Supply. They're in Harrison right there at 6210 Highway 58.
Are they online?
Yes, they are. That's cartershootingsupply.com, or give them a call, 423-344-1099. Now, this sale's not going to last too long, so you need to hurry up and get there. And they do have a great indoor shooting facility. You can get your Tennessee handgun carry permit also. That's Carter Shooting Supply, 423-344-1099. You need a place for your party or maybe a wedding reception for 100 or even more. Maybe you'd like to host a small trade show for your business, and you need a very affordable venue. Are you looking for a place for your birthday gala or services to start up a church? Look no further than the Hidden Gem in Hickson. It's an overlooked, newly appointed reception hall right here in Hickson, Tennessee. Big space, small price. That's right, big space, small price. Call Mr. Chu and ask for a tour. 316-7388. That's 423-316-7388. He'll tell you a lot more about the venue. Rent this venue today. Just call 423-316-7388 and ask for Mr. Chu.
Areas of rain will move off to the east for the nighttime hours. Breezy, colder overnight, lows into the mid, maybe upper 30s. Now for your Wednesday, more sunshine returns, but still breezy. High will struggle to hit 50. Tomorrow night, cold and frosty, lows near freezing with more clouds and some late showers returning Thursday. Your business needs can change in an instant. Accountemps can help by providing accounting and finance professionals on a temporary basis whenever you need them. Call today. That's Accountemps, a Robert Half company. And I'm Swargene 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
When the weather turns bad, turn to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. On the net, hotnewstalkradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. From the Hot News Talk Radio Weather Center. Chattanooga, we've got you covered. When the weather turns bad, the Tennessee Valley turns to Hot News Talk Radio.
Go, 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 go.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office says that a 16-year-old student at Central High School brought a BB gun to school today. A student told the school resource officer about a suspicious post they saw on social media, according to a spokesman for the Sheriff's Office. When the Central High School administrators questioned the student, they did find a weapon located in his belongings on school property. He was taken into custody and taken to the Hamilton County Juvenile Detention Facility, charged with possessing a weapon on school property. A dispute over a man nearly turned deadly. Police arrested Whitney Robinson, who's 26, on Tuesday for allegedly attempting to run over a woman with her car during a dispute over a man. The victim called police and the defendant fled to her car. When Miss Moss, the victim, ran outside to read Ms. Robinson's tag number, the defendant allegedly turned her car around and drove at Ms. Moss. The front bumper hit her in the knee, causing her to fall backwards. The suspect has been taken into custody. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Hello, everybody. This is AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. Thank you for joining me today. And every Wednesday, we always try to get you the latest and greatest in NASCAR news. My good friend and our NASCAR insider, Sam Blevins, joining me today in the studio, in the flesh.
I'm here. I am here. It is amazing to be here right now. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I mean, having you over the phone, this is the best. This is the better experience.
It is, and I really enjoy coming in here and seeing you. I don't get to see you that much, so this is nice.
Yeah,
this is cool.
So we've got a lot to talk about. Last week, Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yes, very good race. Very, very, very good race. Very close race too.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back close races to start the season. This is going to be a great season.
This is a good season. This season is actually starting off a lot better than seasons that I've seen in the past. I mean, this is good racing. This is good racing. Enjoy this while you can, because I don't know if it'll ever happen again. We'll see though. Hopefully it will, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, from season to season, it'll go up and down. Like we see it in baseball all the time, that you have some seasons where you just start off with 1 million homers, and you're like, how, what?
Right.
And then the next season, you're just nothing. It's
and a lot of other sports that way. Football's that way. Teams go up and down year to year depending on what players. But racing is like that a lot, I've noticed. So, but we've been seeing a really good season. I like it.
We're off to a fantastic start.
You know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. So, could you give me some of your opinions on the race last week?
I thought it was really good. Johnson ran a hard race. Junior ran a hard race.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson tied Junior for 76 wins, so they're both pretty even. So I think next week. No, I said next year, not next year. Next week they're probably gonna go after one another, try to get that, and that's really what NASCAR is a lot. I think a lot of the time it's a continuing soap opera. So next week we'll get to continue that soap opera,
right? Which that's perfect,
right?
I mean, that's the best part about it. Is there anything that, because there were some penalties handed out after the fact? Like, do you have any particular opinion on those penalties? I believe, was it 6 penalties were handed out?
Yeah, penalties are just part of the sport. I mean, I really, what were they? I really didn't hear this.
There were 6 teams that were docked points.
You talking about the thing that just came out today?
Yes.
Yeah, that. Yeah, there's that.
And then Pern got suspended.
Yeah. I think that's just people trying to get around the system, and that's been happening for a long time in racing, not just our racing, but
in every
sport. I've heard people say you're not winning if you're not cheating. So
right, I've heard the if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Exactly.
So I can see that, and you just have to enforce the rules the best way that you can.
Right.
What is, because it's weird, because I think that NASCAR is like one sport where if someone is trying to cheat, we don't get as angry as we do with other sports.
Well, I mean, I think maybe it's because you have so much stuff in NASCAR that you got to worry about versus another sport like football. You have 7 players on the field, right?
11 for any team.
11. 11 players on the field at any given time. NASCAR, you got 43 drivers. You've got the crew chief for that driver. You've got the car owner for that driver. You've got the crew, the pit crew for that car. You've got the car builders back in North Carolina, wherever the heck they are, Kannapolis, wherever that is, building the race cars that have to build it the right way. So I think NASCAR, it's so much more to keep up with. It's like, if that happens, it happens,
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many little things that especially nowadays, there's just so many little things you got to worry about.
Right. And I guess, because an even better example of football than football would be something like baseball, where basically like one person at a time takes turns. Like you with the way we talk about people and steroids in baseball and corked bats in baseball, like we get so angry at them.
Yeah, and I mean it's like NASCAR is doing cheating in NASCAR is like putting a cork in your baseball bat. It's just not that big of a deal, I don't think. And honestly, I don't even know if the fans really care.
Yeah, do we really even remember?
Yeah. Because because you're racing one day a week for like 4 hours at a time, all over the country. It's not like baseball where you're just playing. You may play three days in a row in the same stadium, and it's kind of, oh, well, hey, we need to remember to not do this because this happened here, or when we were here last time, we got to. NASCAR, you just get one chance and you're done for that whole year. So,
gotcha, and that does make sense.
Unless you do go back to the track a second time, which I didn't think about that because they do go back to the same track 2 times in a row throughout the year. So yeah,
it's a bit more rare though than
right.
Then you've got a home stand and you've got 4 games in Atlanta.
And I think it's just it's gotten to the point now where there's just so much to keep up with. I don't even think NASCAR really knows what's going on. The officials just can't even, because they're trying to watch 43 different drivers, 43 different teams, 43 different car owners, make sure they're all playing nice, playing safe by the rules. It's just, can they really keep up with that?
Right.
With their limited amount of resources they have.
Because we know because there's a million rules in NASCAR. There's I don't know. I think I maybe know more than I think I know, but I don't hardly know any of them.
Yeah, it's like you can't have this amount of weight in the tire. You can't have the tire pressure up this amount. You can't have, just silly, really silly little things. Yeah, like that.
Things like that. Like everybody knows a pass interference when they see a pass interference.
Right.
You just don't know when someone is breaking the rules in NASCAR. Like there's nothing visually on your screen that's going to tell you outside of someone like overtly, I don't know.
Yeah. I would really like to see how they set up a camera angles for NASCAR races, because that's a mile and a half, sometimes 2 mile track. You're trying to get about 50 cameras around that track. Good gum.
Why? Man,
it's that's how do they do that?
And I don't want that job.
Well, I wouldn't mind to have it, but hey, that's just I'm nuts. I'm sorry, but it's seriously, it's like. You're trying to show everyone so much in a 4-hour time period. We can't possibly show them everything.
No.
So I think that's where a lot of it comes in.
It's actually impossible. But I want to shift gears here, and we're talking to Sam Blevins, my good friend, and our NASCAR insider here on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. I want to ask you about the NASCAR CEO. He endorsed Donald Trump.
You talking about Brian France?
Yes.
Yeah.
Endorsed Donald Trump. Should he have done that? Where's your place? Where's your line?
Well,
because you don't see, Roger Goodell's not going out endorsing people. Adam Silver's not going out endorsing people. Is there a line there? And did he cross it?
I think.
I don't have a problem with you if you support Trump, but that's your.
Yeah, I think the problem with this comes in as, I don't think he's going to lose any fans, NASCAR fans. There's a lot of people that don't like Brian France.
Right. But anytime
there's
you're the CEO,
lot of people that don't like Brian France.
Or a commissioner, people don't like you. There's a time period where you're like, okay, you're good. But people hate Roger Goodell now.
Yeah.
So it happens.
But Brian's done a lot for the sport that people aren't happy about. But we won't get into that. That's another topic for another day.
I would like to have that conversation, by the way.
Well,
maybe not right this moment, but I would like to do that one day.
I don't know if I feel comfortable doing it on an MRN station either. So,
okay.
But anyway,
that's fair.
Anyway, so I don't think it's a bad thing. I think like I said, I don't think he's going to lose any fans of the sport over it, because NASCAR is, and has always been, and to a point it still is, a very southern sport with very southern viewers. That's why a lot of the racetracks are down in the South, like Darlington, Charlotte, Atlanta, Daytona, Talladega, Texas, Bristol, those kind of tracks. They're in the South, southern United States. There's not too many. I think there's maybe 4 or 5 different tracks up north, because that's where NASCAR, honestly, that's where they get a lot of their fans from the South.
That's where it originated.
Right. And that's where, and a lot of the fans in the South, a lot of people in the South have a very conservative viewpoint. They hold very Christian conservative beliefs. And I think a lot of those people would support Donald Trump, and they probably do support Donald Trump. So in their minds, it's not a bad thing. Now, if he had said, I'm going to support Bernie Sanders. That's probably going to be a bad thing.
You might lose some people there.
Yeah, they're not going to be too happy. But I don't think he's doing a bad thing. I don't think he's doing a bad thing business-wise by supporting Donald Trump. Now, the other people up north that watch NASCAR,
I don't even know.
They don't know if they. I don't know.
I don't know if he loses them either, just because
they watch NASCAR.
Yeah, and the thing is
that they're in that demographic of people that could watch NASCAR.
Very, very possibly.
But somehow they live up in the northern United States.
Yeah, some people end up starting here, and then you find a job somewhere else or something like that, and you end up north. With the thing with that too is it's like still you have to take a step back and go, you know what? That's still just that guy's opinion. Like
Right.
Even if you were a Bernie Sanders supporter, if you're a big NASCAR fan, is that really going to stop you from enjoying a sport?
Probably not.
That's very exciting.
Probably not. I mean, does a political opinion stop you from enjoying golf or football?
It really doesn't. And so but I wonder if that's because I understand that like there's a line there where it's like this is not your place. Like I like people like things not to touch. Like I don't want my sports touching my politics, and I don't want my politics touching my religion. And then it
kind of blends together when you're not looking.
And right now you're just like Trump. You kind of combine all three, which is weirdly volatile.
I don't know. I don't think he did a bad thing in a business sense. I don't think he's really going to lose anybody with that endorsement. He may, and he probably will, but it won't be a wide margin.
I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I know it is too. I've never heard of like I said, like you said, I've never heard of a CEO saying,
yeah, like Donald Trump's the guy
endorsing a political. That's just odd. I mean, you hear about celebrities, you hear about athletes doing that all the time.
Yeah.
Musicians,
but like the leader of the organization is actually
just odd. I don't know where that came from. That's just I don't know. That's weird. Huh? Interesting. Weird stuff.
It is.
I learn something new every day.
So we're talking to Sam Blevins, our NASCAR insider. Where are we going next week?
Well, where are we going next week?
That's a really good question. And
this is what happens when I don't do any research. Literally, I just came here straight from something else.
Which I didn't know you didn't do any research. You don't sound like a person who is unresearched. So here we go.
You're a nice friend, you know that.
My thing is I
feel very stupid for admitting that. Just say.
Well, here's the thing, because I am the host of the show. I should have done research as well. Except that I was like, oh no, Sam's gonna do it.
You're fine. Usually I do, but I didn't have any time this week.
So I have my notebook. It's closed because I didn't put my NASCAR notes in here. Just like I left it all on my phone and my computer. So like it's not the most reliable way of doing radio personally. I find like I have to write everything down, and I have to write everything down in like pen.
Yeah, and that's yeah. Well, they are going to Las Vegas this week.
All right.
Vegas is one of the newer tracks. It's it was really one of those tracks I think that got them out west, got them a fan base, not just in the South, because they built it in 97. I want to say 1997, because Mark Martin won the inaugural race there. But they're going to Vegas next week, and they're going to where was I going with this?
Well,
now I remember. See, I don't see. This is what happens.
Everybody has their days.
I know. Well, why did it have to be today?
I have no idea.
When I'm on the air with you, I don't know. Anyway, they're going to Vegas next week. Like I was saying, Vegas is one of the newer tracks. It was built not too long ago in track NASCAR standards, about 20-ish, 19-ish years ago. But Vegas is an interesting track in itself, because Vegas was the track, like I said, that got them out west. It gave them a fan base that was not just in the South. It was really one of the very first tracks. Well, it's probably the second, because Phoenix was the first. Phoenix was the oldest track out west, I think. I don't know if I'm right on that. I think I'm right, but not too sure. But Vegas came along at a time where they were trying to expand the sport, or when they were beginning to expand the sport.
Right.
And it's you don't really hear a lot about Vegas. You don't really hear about a lot about any big moments in Las Vegas for some just reason. No one really likes to talk about it. It's like New Hampshire. No one really likes to talk about big moments in New Hampshire.
Right. There's something particularly forgettable about New Hampshire.
Well, it's just because it's so far up there, and it's so just really it's an out of the way kind of racetrack.
Yeah, and when it happens in the season, it's not like if New Hampshire was the second race of the season, I think you talk about it more.
Well, I mean that's what they did with Atlanta. They try to put the most memorable tracks like in the very first two races. Like that's why everyone always remembers. Oh, it's the Daytona 500 weekend because
it's the opening race,
right?
Yeah, I mean, and that makes perfect sense to me. With Vegas, maybe this is the year that we do have something memorable to talk about. It's been such a great start to the season that I don't see why not.
Anything's possible. I've learned that. I've learned that after watching racing for so many years. So we'll see. I guess. Yeah, we'll see. But I think we're in for a good race this week. Like I said, I think Jimmy Johnson, Earnhardt Jr. They're both tied 76 wins apiece, and I think that's something they're going to really try hard this week and go after and try to make a reality. They're going to try to beat each other and see who can get to 77 first.
Which all of a sudden, like that's a storyline that's opened up that I'm just going to enjoy the crap out of this season.
We'll see. Yeah.
What are the odds that any of our rookies make some noise? Because I've been keeping an eye on them.
I think it's pretty good. Chase Elliott had a great week last week as well, which I was very, very happy to see. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I was very disappointed. I was very, very disappointed when he spun out.
Yeah.
Him and Junior. And I said Junior.
And you said Junior was going to be the one to win it.
Yeah.
That was just unfortunate. Because Junior wasn't.
What am I doing? I just
wasn't out of it. Like you couldn't have known that he was going to spin out. Like, because he was doing pretty well.
Yeah, but I think the big thing for Chase in the 500 was he had a great. He won the Xfinity Series race the day before. He had a great starting position. He was in front. He had the first spot on the pole in his first Cup race,
which is incredible. He's going to be amazing.
I think he will. He's got a lot of his dad's qualities, which his dad, Bill Elliott, was my favorite, is my favorite driver of all time. I mean, I'm a Bill Elliott fanatic. I grew up watching him. Really, my dad is the one who ever really got me to watching Bill Elliott because that was his favorite driver. Still is, but not current driver. You know what I mean? But,
right.
But now he's a Elliott fanatic even more than I am. He's got every single little Bill Elliott die-cast car, I swear, that there is.
I actually had one of those growing up.
Which one? Did you have the McDonald's one or the Coors one or the Dodge one?
I had the Coors one.
Oh, you had the original Bill Elliott. You had the famous Bill Elliott race.
Yes.
The one where he did all the big stuff when he won $1 million.
Yes, I don't know how I ended up getting it. Like I really don't remember where I got it from.
Was it a Racing Champions diecast car or was it like a Hot Wheels kind of car?
I think it was a Hot Wheels kind of car.
Okay. Because the Racing Champions one were like the really nice, actually had rubber wheels and a real looking little diecast race car. Those are the ones that he has and I have mainly. But so yeah, I think Chase Elliott's going to be a great driver. He reminds me a lot of his dad, and that's a good thing. And honestly, I think and this is true in a lot of cases, especially with these kind of father-son driver combinations. You're going to get so many more people watching. Him specifically is going to get so many more people that used to watch NASCAR watching NASCAR again. Like there's a guy I work with. In fact, it's our own Patrick Core that does the weather on this radio station.
Yeah.
I was talking to him and he was watching the Gator or the dual races that Thursday night they were on TV. And I was like, I didn't know you were a NASCAR fan. He's like, well, I used to be, and then I stopped, and now I am again. And it's all because of that guy right there, Chase Elliott. I'm like, really? I didn't know you were a Bill Elliott fan. So yeah, I think Chase, that's a good thing. It's a really good thing he's racing now because He's getting a lot of those older viewers back that quit watching when Bill retired, and so yeah, I think it's a good thing. And Earnhardt Jr. did the same thing. I mean, because there's two kinds of Earnhardt Jr. fans. There's the Earnhardt Jr. fans that were fans of his dad, Earnhardt Sr.
Mm-hmm.
And then when his dad tragically passed away, the late Dale Sr., when he tragically passed away in 2001, they went to the junior camp because he's like, the next best thing to Dale Sr.
That's
the late Dale Sr.
Of course.
But the other kind of junior fan, which I'm not going to get too much into, is the kind that saw him, was never even heard of Dale Sr.
Which I find so hard to believe.
I know, but I mean, they never watched Dale Sr. They just saw Dale Jr. as the hip, young, cool, MTV-ish kind of guy.
That's true. Like he listens to rap music and just very unconventional.
Just, not what you really expect with a NASCAR driver. So,
but you know what? Dale Jr. is a Redskins fan, so as far as I'm concerned, he can't be a bad person.
No,
I don't think it's actually possible.
He's a nice guy, from what I can tell. So I've never met him. I've seen him race, but I've never met him. But he seems like a nice guy. He's a very traditional kind of driver. He's a very Southern kind of driver, I've noticed. And maybe that just comes from being raised in North Carolina with his dad and his mom in a traditional, like, Southern. I mean, I guess that's where it comes from. Chase is that way too, but Dale Jr. kind of shows that a little bit more, I think.
So
the way he talks and stuff like that.
Right. Which I mean, I like him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
But once I found out he was a Redskins fan, I was basically on the bandwagon. And I was on there rather quickly. So got a final question here for you. Right. Non-NASCAR question.
What's that?
Tennessee Titans have the first pick in the NFL draft. What do they do with it? Like, I think they should take Laramie Tensel and get the offensive line fixed.
Yeah, you want to get the best player you can. That's why you have the first pick. You don't want to blow. I mean, you want to take the best player you can. But the question here is, they're going to take the best player they can, obviously, if they're not just stupid, and they don't.
Because the other thing is that they could take more picks. They could try and trade it to somebody and get more picks.
But you want to get the best people you can so you can rebuild that team.
Right, because you had the second pick last year.
But my question is that player, are they going to have enough resources to develop that player?
Well,
and make him the best player he can be. That's my question. I don't know. That's just what.
Probably not, to be honest with you. They have a lot of holes, but he is the second hole that they need to fill. They got quarterback last year, get offensive line this year.
Right.
Why not? You've been listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. Thank you, Sam, for joining us today.
Hey, no problem.
And thank you for listening to the show. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch, and I'll see you in 24 hours.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hi, I'm Sabrina with Sabrina Realty Associates. Now is a great time to sell your home. In our area, inventory is at an all-time low, which translates into higher sales prices. Call us today at 423-499-7780 to set up a free consultation and discuss our unique and aggressive marketing programs. We will provide you with a free market analysis to determine the right value of your home. Call us today at 423-499-7780 or visit our website at sabrinarealty.com.